Today, Greg Carton says that over 20 teams in the NFL would trade for Tua Tagovailoa if the Dolphins were to move off of him and not extend him. Well, The Athletic then came out and said the Dolphins should trade Tua and sign Kirk Cousins. We will talk about all that. Plus, something I wanted to cover a little bit more in depth. Will Raheem Mostert want an extension, or is he going to play out this year with really no guaranteed money left on his deal? Plus, we will talk about the offensive line, and you best believe so much more. Do me the favor as you come in, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new. Let's get into this.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it!
You have got to be kidding me.
Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score!
Field on the near side, man open, touchdown!
The run from Tua Tagovailoa.
Touchdown!
He's going deep. He's got it for the touchdown again. Let's go!
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fire to the end zone. Touchdown!
He's rolling. Touchdown, Dolphins.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan.
Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Appreciate all you coming through and spending a little bit of your Saturday with me. We got a bunch to talk about today. But before we get into all that, I got to shout out the homie DouglieDoWrong. I stand with Dougley. I mean, in what's going on right now, it's absolutely ridiculous. That's my boy. That's that's one of the nicest people in this community that does nothing but support everyone. He doesn't try to get into middle of squabbles. There are people in this community that don't like each other, and he doesn't choose sides. He doesn't get in the middle of it. He always calls things down the middle, and I just cannot believe that I actually heard from Barry the Rat Goof Mouse that he's coming for DouglieDoWrong and Douglee's subscriber count. Like, what? Listen, let me tell you something. All right? Let me tell you something right now, because this is absolutely unbelievable. All right? This guy, he buys subs on X. He buys subs on YouTube. I mean, go to his X and go look. 20,000 followers, but like 0 impressions unless someone in the community who means something interacts with him. All right? And now you want to come out here and you want to basically, oh, I'm coming for your sub. Okay, that's great. What, are you going to just keep buying them? Everyone knows you ain't grown it organically and authentically. Everyone and their mama knows that. All right? And their grandmama knows it. Everyone knows what the deal is. So let's not start sitting here and acting like you're changing the game. All right? And the fact that you would attack someone who has really totally just ignored you and left you alone just says a whole lot. Like, one of the things that crossed the line with me was when he tried to attack Doug, and he quote tweeted Doug when Doug tweeted out about the tragedy that happened in Kansas City, and Barry tried to turn it into virtue signaling and all this kind of jazz. And, it was just absolutely, utterly ridiculous. And this is what I'm going to say. We all know what the deal is. We all know I want to do this content creator show for all these people who got this discourse to put out on the table. We all know Barry ain't going to show up. There's another person we could probably all sit here and already identify that they ain't going to show up. We know what the deal is. Y'all don't want no piece of the big bad wolf. That's what it comes down to. Y'all don't want to walk into the den with me because y'all know you ain't walking out. And I've said this before, I don't got to get personal. I don't got to call names. I can leave it to the facts and the films, and I'll put it all over your feelings. Because I know how these people work. First half of the season, right? It was Vic Fangio is the problem. His defense sucks. This team sucks. He needs to go. Defense starts being great after week 6. All of a sudden, they said nothing. And then they just waited for Tua to slip up, and then it came. All these people just ride the wave of negativity. That's all they live off of. But now you're trying to pick a fight with one of us. Now you're trying to pick a fight with the guy, with the OG and the top dog who's been around. You know, Chat Sports can have 55,000. No one gives a crap about Chat Sports. They're a conglomerate. They have hundreds of $1,000s pumped in behind them. No one cares about Chat Sports. But I'll tell you, Douglie's the top guy. And I'll tell you right now, Barry, you can buy all the YouTube followers and you can buy all the Twitter followers you want. But guess what? Here's the fact of the matter. You can go on Fiverr and you buy your little YouTube subscribers and your little X followers. But you ain't going to buy the credibility and the respect from this fan base and this community. You're seen as a joke. On X, you're seen as a walking joke. On YouTube, you're seen as a joke. People like Doug can go on X or Twitter. They're respected. They mean something in this community. You'll never have that. Never. I can do the same whether I go on YouTube or X. Our opinions are valued. What we say matters. People turn to us for advice for this team. You'll never have that. Ever. You wouldn't have had it before you did this to Doug, and you won't have it after you did it to Doug. And I'm telling you, I'm looking dead through the windows to your soul right now, and I'm telling you, I dare you. If you get voted onto this content creator show, I dare you to come up here. I dare you to step face to face. Y'all are out here plugging this All Dolphins podcast, which was one of the biggest jokes of an episode anyone's ever seen. People up here, conspiracy theories about McDaniel benched Tua and Tua was faking Tua's faking concussions. The dumbest stuff. I never thought I would hear stuff top Tua faking his progressions nonsense, but congratulations, y'all just won the dumbest conspiracy theory award. You and your little buddy there. All right? Y'all go, these guys are doing videos about All Dolphins podcast, plugging it, trying to take victory laps. Buddy, you know how many people hit me up and said, you handled Poupar, you took care of Poupar? I didn't even mention a damn thing. Other than retweeting, did you see me and Douglie doing, like, you see us doing recap shows? Do you see us, like, making tweets about it? No, you know why? Because me and Douglie been there before. Me and Douglie rubbed elbows with these type of people before. We've done these interviews before. We've talked to players before. We act like we've been there, and guess what? We still outviewed your ass, Barry. What's good? See, what y'all ain't realizing, subs matter, sure. But at the end of the day, if you want to start calculating things that matter, here's what matters. Views. That's what matters. And look at since the season ended. All Dolphins podcast, Phinside the NFL, and DouglieDoWrong have been consistently outviewing you. Brother, this guy's got videos with 800 views, 1,000 and something views. I can't name the last time I did a video under 3,000 views. The same can be said for Doug. The same can be said by All Dolphins podcast. And now you want to come for one of us, and you want to come for my homie and someone who's, since I started this channel, has been supporting me. Who doesn't bother a single person. Who stays in his own lane and just tries to get along with everyone. Buddy, you're 65-year-old with a jowl like a pelican, buying YouTube and YouTube subscribers and Twitter followers because you're insecure that guys in their 30s are more credible than you, are more respected than you, are more well-liked than you, and mean more in this community than you ever will. You need to reevaluate your life, bud. Nothing you've done is organic. Listen, everyone knows I don't support TD Finstock. I don't like TD. That's it. And he can come up on this content creator show. We don't have to like each other to have a debate. We don't have to get personal. Everyone knows I don't like him. That's no secret. But I'll sit there and say this. TD's 28,000 subs, at least they're organic. At least he built that from the ground up. You want to tell me in a year and a half, organically, you surpassed TD? You want to tell me in a year and a half, organically, you're catching up? I've seen your content. That's not, no. We know you done been buying subscribers and views, especially when you started out with the views. I've sat up here and I've listened to him reenact the story of, if anyone's seen the movie Invincible, where they talk about the Knuckles giving away pass pro and run blocking reps, Barry literally lifted that and tried to tell a story that he was in that position. Brother, all it takes is a LinkedIn search to see that you went to the University of Delaware 6 years after you went to high school. You didn't play football at the collegiate level. Stop lying to people. We all know. Okay, we've all seen you trying to call out Teron Armstead and how he handles protection when he had a man coming off the edge and a man he had to take on the inside. You were calling him out for letting that man come off the edge without realizing one of the fundamental laws of the offensive line is you have to work inside out. You have to take the shortest path to the quarterback. Buddy, you had your own followers on, some of your real followers on Twitter, correcting you on that. But you tell people you played offensive line. You can try and lie to all these people, but you can't lie to the people that know ball, who played ball, and have seen the type of song and dance you're doing. We can spot a grifter and a liar from a mile away. Before you had 10,000 subs, we all knew what it was. So, listen. I stand with DouglieDoWrong, and I implore everyone in this community, stand with DouglieDoWrong. There's not a nicer guy out here. And he's done nothing to deserve. And what's crazy is, Douglie throws up the receipts. You tried to call, and you tried to label Douglie as someone who promotes bullying, then you proceed to attempt to bully Douglie with quote tweets and calling him out on your show like that. You tried to threaten him, I'm coming for your subs. Sure, go buy your 10,000 subs. Go spend your couple $100 to make it look like you have more. You'll never do consistent DouglieDoWrong numbers. It's absolutely ridiculous. You think we don't see through this? I've been telling people what you are since you done come around. You're Barry the Rat Goof. That's what you are. I done called you out over the Deshaun Elliott thing last offseason. I dragged you through the mud. I basically ran you off Twitter and out of the community on Twitter. Ran you out of there. Right? You had to block me because you couldn't handle it, bud. I dare you. Come see me on this content creator show. I dare you. And I don't got to throw up memes. I don't got to call names. Hell, we can get a moderator if you're afraid of me that badly. I'll stick to the facts in the film. Things you don't know and you can't break down. And I will handle you. Doug don't even have to say a word. Tag me in, brother. Come see me, Barry. Come see me on this content creator show. Come see me. Okay? You can go up here with these journalists who ain't been in this forum before and don't know how to debate. Knock yourself out. Come see the big bad wolf now. Come see the guy who used to had all these other people, when I'd be up on panels with them, go real quiet when reason comes around. Come try and see if you can handle me. I don't know who these people think they are, but you ain't that. And I'm going to show you you ain't that. And it's even better. I dare you not to I dare you to get voted into that top 5 and not show up even 4, because now you're just going to show everybody what we already know. You ain't about the fans, and you afraid of reason. So come see me. Absolutely unreal. And shout out to DouglieDoWrong. Shout out to DouglieDoWrong, man. And if you want to go vote, go to the community tab on YouTube. Go list your 10 people you want to see on that show, or go to Twitter and go respond to the post and show me the 10 you'd want up here. We already know y'all gonna dodge me like a viper. We already know. We already know. So that's what I got to say about that, because it's absolutely, utterly ridiculous. And I feel bad, and I get what, listen, we're about giving content to the fans. We feel like this kind of stuff lowers the standard of quality we deliver to fans. But, shout out to Doug for not letting this guy think he can come around and push him around. And on top of that, I'm not going to let someone think they can get away with pushing around Doug. You're going to see now the pushback from the YouTube community, because guess what? We're going to rally against our own. And you ain't one of us, Barry. You ain't even been with us through the Flores era. We seen the tweets of you ripping on the Miami Dolphins organization when they were taking knees, saying, this is why I'll never watch the NFL, but except the Cowboys, because I'll always be a Cowboys fan. We done seen the tweets of you saying you were a Tom Brady fan when he's with the Patriots. No Dolphin fan is a Tom Brady or a Patriot fan. We've seen it. We know you're a fraud. Hell, I don't know how anyone hasn't picked up the fact I haven't seen one lick of merchandise either behind you or on you. You're not a fan. I got people who watch me right now that have spent thousands of dollars in 1 year because they truly love this team. And you'll try to do some right-wing spin. Oh, well, I don't support grown men who wear their jersey. You'll try to make some spin out of it, but the fact is, you ain't a fan. And you ain't never been a fan. Buddy, I done seen, and I got the clips. I done seen videos of you absolutely goo-goo gagaing and gawking over Tyreek Hill and Tua in training camp. I even got one clip where Tua calls a motion, and you're out here telling people, trying to play-by-play it, saying he called an audible in training camp when it's clearly a motion. I done got the clip, bro. You can try to fool these people that you know ball, but I know you couldn't break down nothing unless you Googled it. Again, I cordially invite you and dare you to come on this content creator show. Because it's going to be over. And you know, like I know, why you ain't going to show up. Because I'm going to expose you that you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And you can try to spin it however you want. We all know the truth. All these people, it's unbelievable. How many things have y'all been wrong about? Anthony Weaver has an introductory press conference. These guys don't care about covering it and giving their insight and takes on it about you. They'd still cover talking about Tua. Because they don't know. Again, I stand with DouglieDoWrong, and I implore everyone support DouglieDoWrong in this. And don't think we ain't noticed, Barry. The real subscribers seem to be unsubscribing from you, huh? You done lost over 300 subscribers since he dropped that video. You think we ain't noticed? Now you're losing the real subscribers. What are you going to do? Not enough bots are going to watch you, bud. And don't worry, we already know you done bought views before, and I'll tell a little story quickly, all right? This past offseason, I believe it was the Jaguars game. I had about 500 or 600 people watching me while I was live reacting. TD had about 800 or 900, and Dougley had about 1,200. Barry had about 200 or 300 people watching him live. He was clear far and away the lowest. But somehow, when all of our streams ended, he finished with more views because they calculate them over the 8 hours. He finished with more views than DouglieDoWrong. You think we don't know what was up? And I'm not talking about like the 8 or 12 hours passed and you had more views. I'm talking about when we all ended our stream, you had less viewers than me, TD, and Doug was leading all of us, and you somehow had more views. Me and Dougley saw it that night. Like, we literally saw it that night. We were on the phone, and we literally saw it, and we're like, what the, like, done. We done known this is going on, all right? So you're even that sad that you buy views because you're so insecure, all right? Like, bro, pathetic doesn't even begin to describe a 65-year-old guy with a pelican jowl who lies to the fan base, acting like he actually knows ball and he played ball when it's evident he didn't. And he's out here beefing with people in their 30s and buying subscribers on YouTube, followers on X, and views on YouTube because he's afraid of being outshined by people in their 30s. I mean, you keep talking about people, us in this vacuum. Bro, I keep thinking, every time you do this, I keep thinking you're talking about your small dick energy. Every time I see you go like this on a screen, I think you're talking about your small dick energy and not actually, you know, the vacuum the Dolphin fans are in. Every time I see you go like this. Unbelievable. And I'm at your neck, Barry. I'm at your neck. Come see me. Now that I've gotten that off my chest, sorry, bro, you coming from my friend. Like, I've known, like, this is, you know, I've known Doug since 2019. You're coming from my friend who doesn't bother anybody. Doesn't bother a single soul in this community. And you decided you thought you were going to get away with picking on him. Unbelievable. But when y'all talk about me, you don't drop my name. I said this to Doug yesterday. We were on the phone when this video came out. I said to Doug yesterday, I said, why don't they say my name? Why are you afraid of saying my name? I know. Because you guys check under your beds and your closets at night for the boogeyman. I know why you don't say it. Because you know what comes with that. I know why. So, I'll say it one more time. If, and I'm sure the votes are going to go up now, if you get voted into this content creator show, I dare you to show up, brother. And I dare you not to show up, either or. It's on like Donkey Kong, baby. So, all that said, sorry if I got a little out of line, but that's my boy. And that's my boy for 5 years now. 2019, I've known him since. So, yeah. I'm going to stand on this. And I mean everything I said. And I regret absolutely nothing. So, that's what I got to say about that. Come see me I ain't hard to find, and I've even got an open invitation right now. Don't be scared just because you're about to be served. All right. Enough of people beyond a mid-age crisis, out here battling with people half their age because, they have no friends, they have no life, and they're insecure idiots. And they're not even Dolphin fans. They don't even care about all you. All they care about is the clout from you guys and trying to make money off of you guys. They don't care about keeping y'all informed. They don't care about all y'all. They don't. And y'all will find out when you guys vote these people onto the show and they don't show up. Because I'll go. I ain't scared. I'm showing up. So, let's keep it moving here. Let's talk about some things. So, let's get into some Tua talk first. We'll start off with some Tua talk. Surprisingly, someone who's not even a Tua Tagovailoa supporter, Greg Carton, obviously, since being freshly out of jail, he's come back into the media eye with his show and stuff, and he had something interesting to say. I want to talk about it a little bit more. All right, so let's play this clip. Now, what happened is you're going to see the audio with a still shot from the segment, just because FS1 is pretty bad in terms of copyright striking. So let's play this clip and let's talk about it.
The salary cap stuff to me is noise because it's never happened in the history of the sport where a team is over the cap after the date that they're not allowed to be over. So we know they're going to figure it out. And the easiest way to figure things out is when you have a quarterback that has a contract year coming up. Look, I don't think Tua is the greatest quarterback in the league, and he, like other quarterbacks, now has to prove that he can be the reason why they win a playoff game, which they haven't done yet. And yes, you could throw last year's maybe out the window. The entire team was injured. They're playing in 30 below zero and 40-mile-per-hour winds. It's a built-in excuse. I'll probably give it to him, knowing that offense was so prolific for the majority of the year. But to get under the cap, it's simple. Number one, you have to extend Tua. Because how many great quarterbacks, or even maybe not great, really good quarterbacks are there? There are 20 teams in the league right now that would trade their starting quarterback for Tua, and they wouldn't blink twice, right?
So there you go. Look at what he said at the end there. There are 20 teams in the NFL who would trade their quarterback for Tua Tagovailoa, and they wouldn't even blink twice. And Carton's not even a Tua fan. So this isn't coming from, I don't want to hear Tua homerism or anything like that, because he's not even a fan of him. If you actually do it. So let's talk about this. All right, let's talk about this right now. Okay? Now, let's start with teams that would the Steelers trade Kenny Pickett? 110%. Kyler Murray ain't working so much in Arizona, and they want to get out of that contract. Would they? Probably. New England? Yup. The Raiders? Yup. The Vikings don't have a quarterback. As much as people think that Fields is an upgrade, the Chicago Bears would trade Justin Fields for him in a minute. The Falcons would trade Raider for him in a minute. After what you saw from Bryce Young in year one, why would Tua is proven? Russell Wilson, who some people comped to Tua when he came out. Denver would trade for a minute. The only teams that probably would not trade for Tua Tagovailoa right now are San Fran, KC, Josh Allen, and the Bills, right? The Texans with Stroud. Obviously the Ravens with Lamar. Herbert and the Chargers, right? Burrow and the Bengals, 7. But who else is really... I want to say Hurts, and I guess we can say Hurts, but there was talk all season that they're not happy that they extended Hurts and they want to move off of him. We can't make the argument for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is a middling quarterback right now. Tua Tagovailoa, and he's Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Travis Etienne. That line they built and spent assets and money on for him. I mean, you could make the argument for Dak Prescott too, but what has Dak Prescott done? And he's had weapons. CeeDee, Michael Gallup was good before injuries started piling up with him. He's had Brandon Cooks at one point. He had Ezekiel Elliott in his prime. Now he's had Tony Pollard. Look at the line he's had in Dallas since he entered. He's had a top 3 or top 5 line every year. Like, you could, like, listen, everyone knows I'm a Will Levis guy. Will Levis, they don't even know if he's not a sure bet. Like, it's, look, Aaron Rodgers, you know, everyone, let me say this. The Jets are an interesting conversation too. It would probably be smarter to trade for Tua Tagovailoa than it would be to cling on to what Aaron Rodgers could be. And I'll say this, why? People are going to say, well, why, reason? So I'll give you a Dolphins argument. Because I know there's people like Rhinos in the chat and such. I know there's people who were actually around when Marino was the dude in the chat. Was Dan Marino the same after he tore his Achilles? Anyone who watched Danny Boy, was Dan Marino ever the same after he tore his Achilles? Now ask yourself the question, who was younger when he tore his Achilles? Him or Rodgers? So if Dan Marino, who was younger than Aaron Rodgers, but still in his, mid to late 30s in his 30s when he tore that, what do you think that's going to make Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers is 40. You can have all the new technology you want, but he's still 40. Your body don't heal the same. Like, even when you're in your 30s, your body don't heal the same as when you're in your 20s. This is what I'm saying. Like, it would be smart to move off of Aaron Rodgers for Tua Tagovailoa, because if you're a Dolphin fan, use Dan Marino as your foundation for that argument. I'm just saying, Danny Boy was never the same. Aaron Rodgers is 40. This ain't Aaron Rodgers at 28. So, yeah, I think there's about 8 quarterbacks you would not. And that's because they're a mixture of youth, they're locked in, or you've won with them already. So why move off of them? Greg Carton wasn't lying. When you actually look at it, he was not lying. I think Anthony Richardson is going to ball this year. I was very impressed with what I saw before he got hurt last year. But look at him. How many times did he get hurt before they finally shut him down? He got hurt like 3 times. Like, in the first 6, and then they're like, okay, shut this guy down because he finally had a season-ending injury. He's not a guarantee. So, it's an interesting thing to discuss, and it's true. And that's why Tua's going to get paid. This is the nature of the NFL. I've said it before. Do I wish we had another year to build off of last year, staying healthy and leading the league in passing yards? 110%. I wish we had another year to make this decision, but this is the hand we are dealt. The problem is, I don't want a franchise. Guys, franchise tagging is not what you want to get into with quarterbacks. That's $40 million you cannot move around, $40+ million you cannot move around. You're locked into, et cetera, where instead you could lock him into a contract where, okay, you give him 170, 180 guaranteed, and it's a $250 million contract, but playing time incentives. So If he's hurt and he misses time, I'm not guaranteed on the hook for $40+ million if he gets hurt. And I've said this before, if you lock him into a 5-year deal, you have an out after year 3. That's what I would do. I don't think, and I'm going to say this, Herbert screwed us. The fact he got $1 million less guaranteed, he shouldn't be making more than Lamar Jackson. The guy makes like $30 million more than Lamar Jackson guaranteed. What has Herbert done since his rookie year? And include his rookie year, he's gotten 2 coaching staffs fired, and they were just picking 5th overall. You know, where's the same outrage and outcry? All these people who wanted to, we should have taken Herbert. Oh, Herbert was the guy. Why aren't y'all saying the Chargers should be bringing in competition for Herbert? Herbert loses more than Tua. Talk about a guy who's a league-wide known choker. A guy who's caught on camera saying, I hope we tie this game. Where's the outcry for competition for Justin Herbert? And he's underwhelmed with what he's been giving, that offensive line and the weapons. It's just like the same people who want to blame Tua for every loss, but then will say wins aren't a quarterback stat. Can't have your cake and eat it too. If you're going to pin losses on a quarterback, wins become a quarterback stat. I hate to tell you the reality of the situation, and you don't want to go there with Tua. We're talking like a 64 winning percentage, and guess what? His winning percentage is over 63% with Flores and with McDaniel in 2 different situations under different circumstances. His winning percentage is over 60% with Tyreek Hill in the lineup and without Tyreek Hill in the lineup. Again, you don't want to go down here. We're talking there's only about, I think it's like when you do the math, there's only 6 quarterbacks who have a better winning percentage than Tua Tagovailoa in the NFL right now. Only Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy. So only Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts and Jimmy Garoppolo have better winning percentages. Only 5 active quarterbacks have better career winning percentages than Tua Tagovailoa right now. You got to replace that. And no one, when we beat the Buffalo Bills in the first meeting of the 2022 season, I never heard that he couldn't beat good teams. Tua made that throw to Waddle in that game was the biggest throw any quarterback made in that game, but I never heard. We should have beat them in December if Tyreek Hill and Trent Sherfield and Josh Boyer did their jobs. We would have beat them. We should have beat KC in Germany if Tyreek Hill alone did his job. If Tyreek Hill did his job against Germany, whether he dropped the football at the 30 that we got no points off of, or the fumble that then led to a touchdown return, just there alone, he was a 13 to 21 point swing on those 2 plays. When you do the math, we should have been blowing the Chiefs out in the second half in Germany. I'm not even including Jalen Waddle, the reception down to the Chiefs 26 that got called back due to who took a penalty? Someone took a penalty. It was either the offensive line or receiver took a penalty, a pre-snap penalty, I believe it was. And we played the play out. Jalen Waddle made the reception down to the 26. Ball came back, and we ended up not even getting points on that drive. So if you really want to sit here and do the math, it was actually a 16 to a 28 point swing on those 3 plays alone. So, I had over 1,200 people here when we beat the Chargers. The Chargers in 2022 were coming off a playoff berth. Justin Herbert was supposed to be in the MVP conversation. They had the 6th best pass defense in 2022. Derwin James and J.C. Jackson were healthy. Khalil Mack and Bosa were healthy. They were ready to go. We had no run game. Fangio and that defense were getting cooked. Tua put the team on his back. Outballed Herbert. Beat them. I had over 1,200 people in the post-game chat. Listen, people can use hindsight after the season plays out a bit, but I remember how the expectations for the Chargers going into that season, because I saw it in the viewership alone. And hey, say what you want about Dallas, but didn't they have the same record when they came into Miami and we beat them? To open that game up, and thank God for Jalen Waddle, because Tyreek dropped an 80-plus yard touchdown to basically open the game. Just saying. Now, still 2 for 6 against good teams and in big moment games was not good enough last year, and Tua needs to grow off that. And every time a portion of this fan base tells him he needs to get better at something, what happens? He goes out and he works his ass off in the summer and he gets better. So I ain't worried. So now after that little portion of 20 teams would trade for Tua, then The Athletic, they came out with this article from Mike Sando. And I don't. Anyways, this is what Sando said. All right. You are the Miami Dolphins. You have assembled a star-studded roster that, before losing 6 key contributors to injury on defense, appeared headed towards securing the AFC's top seed, carving your only realistic path to the Super Bowl. Said your team wilted, and specifically your quarterback wilted, on the road in the cold at Kansas City as the Chiefs won 26-7. You soon must decide how to proceed at that quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, as he enters the final year of his contract. Do you validate the love your coach, Mike McDaniel, has shown Tagovailoa while reviving the quarterback's confidence and career? Do you let your quarterback play out his deal, turning each game into a referendum on his future? What about making a run at Kirk Cousins or another alternative? A Miami team is never going to play well in the cold, an executive from another NFL team said. I don't know whether Tua is the answer regardless of that, but what do you do? So, here's what they said. The problem for Miami is that the AFC is packed with cold weather teams possessing superior quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. The Jets with Aaron Rodgers and Cleveland with Deshaun Watson have the potential to be in the mix. Based off what have you seen from Deshaun Watson makes you think they have the potential to be in that mix? While one of the AFC's indoor teams, Houston, has an emerging star quarterback in C.J. Stroud. New England picks 3rd in the draft and could possibly add a quarterback more talented than Tua. Who? Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence also live in the AFC. Okay. One's a choker and the other one's, been middling since he came in and is defining overhyped and overrated, which I told everyone he was at Clemson, but let's keep going. In other words, good luck in the playoffs with Tua, especially on the road. Let's consider 3 options ordered from most to least palatable. Trade Tua, sign Cousins. The equation here is that Cousins and a draft pick or picks would be better than continuing with Tagovailoa. The Dolphins do not have 3rd or 4th round picks in the upcoming draft, so they could use the capital. Cousins, a free agent in March, would have to prioritize Miami as his preferred landing spot, which seemingly would be easy for him, given what the Dolphins offer in terms of McDaniel's personality. And obviously, he's going to be familiar with the scheme because, Washington, right? Your quote, your upside with Tua certainly seems limited, an executive said. So let's say you can trade him. I would be exploring, okay, Tua we can win games with, probably not winning a championship with. Kirk Cousins we can win games with, probably not winning a championship with. But our resources are better spent on Cousins plus draft picks than they are on just Tua. Would you trade for Tagovailoa? NFC teams with indoor stadiums might. Could the Dolphins get a 1st round pick, a 2nd, and a 3rd rounder? If you could get a second and a third for Tua and sign Kirk, I'd want to make sure I felt comfortable at having him for 3 years from a health standpoint. I do think Tua works much better in a dome stadium where, half your games will be played in pristine conditions. Put Tagovailoa on the Falcons and Atlanta. You could have the best quarterback in the division. The Vikings need a quarterback if Cousins departed. Could the Rams be interested if Matt Stafford retired? Trading Tagovailoa for Stafford would be even better if the right set of circumstances. I don't want Stafford at this stage of his career, man. Like, come on. He just came back from a big-time injury the year before, and he's getting up there. No. McDaniel's coaching mentor Kyle Shanahan has coveted Cousins. McDaniel might feel similarity. The three were together with Washington for Cousins' first 2 seasons. Could Cousins be the difference for the Dolphins between securing home field advantage or not? If you like Cousins and you can sign him for 3 or 4 year deal and you can trade Tua for a couple of draft picks, to me, that is a different type of path forward, the first exec said. I don't know if it's the best one. You really have to be in that building to know, but if you're looking for alternatives, there's a pretty good one. Next, let Tua play out the 5th-year option. This feels like the most logical option in the abstract. Teams with doubts about their quarterback should not sign them to long-term deals when they can go year to year. Tagovailoa is scheduled to earn $23.2 million in 2024, which is at the bottom of the annual averages for veteran starters, below Jimmy G. Then you are walking into playing the franchise tag game, which may be okay in the instance of Tua, an exec said. In this case, you aren't worried about someone putting up 2 ones and taking 2 away. It is more about the message it sends to your locker room, your organization, your community about what it is that you reward. If Tua is beloved there, they may as well do a deal and try to minimize their risk and keep searching for the next quarterback. The past 2 seasons have shown Tagovailoa is a good quarterback whose limitations show up resoundingly under the toughest circumstances. He is at the level of quarterback that is hard to commit to, another exec said, but it comes really tricky when you start betting against your quarterback like that. This is where McDaniel's authenticity, a trademark of his approach, would be tested. Whatever your reasoning is, you have to share that with Tua and tell him that's how you see it, the exec said. Another exec was more blunt. You got to love who you are with and then move on, the exec said. He is your number 1 quarterback until he is not. Now, the third option is extend Tagovailoa's contract. The Dolphins could ask for structural concessions, mitigating the risk with a player who carries injury and performance sustainability concerns. Tagovailoa made it through a full season finally, but his late season production has suffered. He has a 2-4 starting record against playoff teams under McDaniel. Would Tagovailoa reward the faith McDaniel has shown in him, recognizing he's best off in Miami by taking a deal that gives him financial security while maintaining more team flexibility? Not going to be possible, another executive predicted. It takes a really mature player who controls the agent to do that, and that is rare. Under this scenario, the Dolphins would get healthy on defense, then make another run at the top seed in the AFC. Tagovailoa would be the starting quarterback for the next 2 seasons, maybe 3. There is no way I would give him an extension, this exec added. You do have to be concerned that your division is going to be a dogfight with Buffalo every year, and you may need to win some of those games in bad conditions late in the season, and you may be playing wildcard games on the road as well. All right, so a lot to unpack here, all right? A ton to unpack here. So let's start off with the Cousins thing. Guys, Cousins has had Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Dalvin Cook, TJ Hawkinson, etc., in Minnesota, and he has not thrown for more yardage than Tua just thrown for since 2016. He has not thrown for over 4,600 yards since 2016. Okay? So, you think that's a good idea to move back to someone past your... No. Stop. This isn't 2012, 2013, 2014 Washington. It's gone. Those days are over. Or 2016 when he threw for the 4,900 yards that I'm referring to. It's over. Okay? No. The guy's 35 years old. Stop. Okay, that's what I got to say about Cousins. That's where I'm going to start with Cousins, all right? He's had all these weapons, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, and he hasn't been able to throw for more yards than Tua did. And he's had Jordan Addison this year before he got hurt. TJ Hawkinson, he hasn't been able to throw for more yards than Tua. So, no. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. No, thank you. Continuing on. Again, Tua was 2-6 this year by my count in big moments, big games. Not good enough. Now, cold weather. I saw how he played against Buffalo in 2022 in December. He was not the reason we lost that game. The Sherfield and Tyreek drops cost us that game, as well as Josh Boyer not getting our defense off the field on 3rd and 17 before the half ended and then giving up a touchdown on that drive. So I've seen Tua play well in cold weather. Hell, we can go to the win and get in Tua as a rookie where he threw 3 interceptions. 2 of those were on our receivers. One where Parker slipped. The ball was there. Parker slipped. He got picked off. And the other one hit Parker in the numbers, went up, and boom, it got picked off. But if you actually go back, I remember Big E did a video on Twitter and counted like 13 drops for our wide receivers. Tua should have had over 500 yards. So, listen, is Tua ideal in cold conditions? No. But don't say he can't play in cold conditions because I've seen him don't play in cold conditions. So that's what I'll say about that. Now, it's a team thing. You've got Tyreek comes up short in big games. All right? Let's not, no one wants to give Tyreek the flack that the guy actually deserves. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to give him the flack that he actually deserves, all right? But Tyreek Hill has come up short in a lot of big games, and I'm going somewhere with this, all right? So just follow along with me here, okay? No one, I talked about Buffalo with the would-be touchdown catch. Go to Philadelphia this year, walk-in touchdown to make it 17-17, drops it. Go to Kansas City this year in Germany. Fumble at the KC 31, which led to a TD for KC, and a drop at the KC 30, which led to no points on the drive in the first half. That's a 13 to 21 point swing. Dallas this year, 80-yard touchdown, drops it. Baltimore, bobble touchdown, back of the end zone, drops it. Buffalo, 2023 in January, 3rd and 7, down 21-14, fourth quarter. Tua hits him in the hands, drops the ball. We got a punt. McDaniel gets away from running the ball inside the 20. McDaniel in KC, 29-mile-per-hour wind gusts, minus 30. We're throwing behind the line of scrimmage with a guy who doesn't drive the football behind the line of scrimmage, which I always talk about when we break down his film. He doesn't drive the ball enough on those kind of throws. He's the type to touch those throws. The wind's going to take them. Then later in the game, we start pushing the ball down the field, and Tua's making throws outside the numbers, no issue. He had a few balls flutter on him, but for the most part, he was making the throws downfield outside the numbers a lot better than he was throwing. The game plan was terrible. And not even McDaniel. Go back to win and get in against Tennessee in Flores' last year. Duke Johnson's play is screaming, feed me the ball, hop on my back. What do? We drop back to over 30 times in those conditions where Vrabel and that Tennessee offense, their first drive with Tannehill, they're pushing the ball beyond the sticks. Tannehill, who has a bigger arm than Tua, they saw that wasn't going to work based on the conditions and how slick the ball was and how sleek the conditions were. They saw that wasn't going to work, so what did they do? Everything was in front or at the sticks, the furthest, never beyond. They were going in front or at the sticks, all off play action, all predicated off what they started doing in the run game. While we were just like, well, let's just drop our guy back like it's sunny and 90 degrees. So, and this has gone on. Buffalo, how I brought that up with all the drops. AVG was the only one that looked like he got off the bus on that win and get in against Buffalo in Tua's rookie year. This is a thing that's been going on with his core since Flores was here. These big games and big moments. This goes a lot deeper than the quarterback with these big moments. So, listen, Kirk Cousins, no thank you. I would rather play out Tua on his 5th year than Kirk Cousins. Let's get that straight. Please, let's get that straight. Now, next thing I want to talk about here. Is Raheem Mostert going to play out this year, or is he going to ask for more money and extension? I mean, let's break down the numbers here, first of all. You know, he led the NFL in rushing touchdowns. He had 1,000 yards. He's averaging about 4.8 yards per carry. Now, when you go up against the starters, that's pretty damn good. And again, 18 touchdowns. He broke our record for, total touchdowns. Do you really see this man playing out this year's contract? He has a cap hit of $3.36 million this year, but because he has no guaranteed money, he has about like $650,000 in guaranteed money. That's his dead cap at $650,000, and you save $2.7 million if you cut him. Remember, he signed a 2-year, $5.6 million contract, and about $2.2 million of that was guaranteed at signing. Do people really foresee Raheem Mostert putting his body on the line this season for basically no money? I really don't know. Like, listen, I know everyone thinks the whole conversation about Derrick Henry or whatever is ridiculous. Listen, I think if you get Derrick Henry, even if you get Derrick Henry, Achane should be running back 1, and Derrick Henry should just be the thunder to Achane's lightning. But, I think it's a conversation to have about this team possibly adding. I mean, because Jeff Wilson's the same. Jeff Wilson, you cut for, and you save almost $3 million too if you cut Jeff Wilson. He has no guaranteed money as well, and we saw how big his usage dipped. Now, obviously, they're going to want to keep Mostert, but what if he says, "I want to be re-upped? Look at what I did for you last year." And the guy gets hurt every year. Mostert gets hurt every year. Again last year, come December and January, he was hurt and banged up again. Which is why me and Neil were up here saying, go get Jonathan Taylor when the talks were heavy, for that exact reason. Because we knew that would be the deal come December and January. Now, part of me says, thank God we didn't get him, when I see McDaniel's lack of commitment to the run in vital situations. But you got to ask yourself the question, is this man going to come out here and take a year-long beating and get used the way he's going to get used after setting the franchise record for touchdowns? You think he's going to come out here and he's going to say, yeah, I'll play for $650,000 guaranteed, and I'll try to hit all these incentives knowing that I'm probably going to get injured this year? I don't know if I see Raheem Mostert playing out this is going to come up. I'm telling you, this is going to come up. You can already feel it, especially if we don't add a running back in free agency of the draft, and now he's got the leverage of knowing he's probably going to be the top guy, next to Achane. And we all know McDaniel loves Raheem Mostert, right? So I could see this becoming an issue. I really could. So, and then finally here, I wanted to play this clip. This is what Mina was asked, and she had asked something. She had a very interesting answer. So let's talk about this.
What's the biggest offseason need in Miami right now?
Yeah, stop me if you've heard this one before. With the Miami Dolphins, it's the offensive line. Austin Jackson, their right tackle, played much better this last season. But outside of that, you've got a bunch of free agents on the interior. Connor Williams, Robert Hunt. We'll see what happens with their left tackle, Teron Armstead. It's a positional group that they continue to need to address, even though their scheme mitigates pressure to some degree and Tua's quick release as well. It is something that this front office has to address this offseason, especially because of the help that it will give them in the run game.
Yeah, Tua ranked 10th in the NFL in total QBR last year overall, but ranked 20th in QBR under pressure. It's a huge need for them, to Mina's point.
So, shout out to Mina Kimes, because she's right. Offensive line between free agency and the draft should be the primary focus. This is why I said, I know it sucks, you got to let Wilkins walk. You could literally go out, all right, I want y'all to realize this. I want y'all to think about this for a second. You could literally go out for the price it's going to cost Wilkins. You could go out and you could sign John Simpson and Kevin Zeitler, from the Ravens, the two starting interior guards for the Ravens. You could get them for probably a little less combined, probably around $20 million combined, whereas Wilkins is going to cost about $24 million. You could probably get them for about $22 million combined, and you would add 2 starting guards from one of the top rushing attacks last year, who are also damn good in pass pro. Just saying. That sounds like smarter. And then you go draft a Jackson Powers-Johnson or Zach Frazier or maybe a Graham Barton, and you throw them in between there. Just saying. Fixed. Guys, smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. I'm going to be back tomorrow night. Sunday late night. Y'all are off Monday. Dolphins After Dark. Reason's birthday stream. Make sure y'all tune in. I want to see y'all come through and show some love. We're celebrating my birthday and we're talking Dolphins. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a Sunday night Dolphins After Dark stream. I want to see y'all come through. Appreciate you guys. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, fins up all day, every day, until Margaritaville sends a cease and desist our way, baby. All right? I'll see y'all on the next one. Fins up, everyone.